Have you ever noticed that the more you chase people, the more they pull away? But the moment you pull back, suddenly, they notice. They start calling, wondering, missing you not because you changed, but because you stopped playing your usual role. The most powerful shift in any relationship doesn't come from shouting, arguing, or demanding attention. It comes from silence. And silence only has power when you stop being available. You don't need to explain yourself to be understood. In fact, sometimes the less you say, the more control you have. So what really happens when you stop showing up for people who take you for granted? Welcome to Stoic Blend, where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Today, we explore the quiet strength behind choosing to become unavailable, and why doing so changes everything. There are people who command the room without speaking a single word. They don't react. They don't explain. They simply withdraw. And when they do, the entire atmosphere shifts. Have you ever tried that? What would happen if you stopped responding immediately? If you let go of the need to react to every slight, every message, every demand for your attention, you'd start to see something curious. People panic not because you hurt them, but because you're no longer predictable, no longer easily controlled. Being emotionally, physically, and psychologically available all the time trains the world to take you for granted. They know where to find you, how to trigger you, how to use you. But the day you choose stillness over reaction, silence over explanation, everything changes. What provokes us in others is often a mirror reflecting the parts of ourselves we haven't yet faced. So look closely who gets upset when you become unavailable, who tries to provoke you just to feel in control again. It reveals more about them than about you. We often give ourselves away to avoid conflict, to keep peace, to not lose people. But in doing so, we lose ourselves. Every forced yes, every rushed reply, every emotional reaction, these are withdrawals from your own energetic bank account. At the end of the day, you're drained, frustrated, and don't even know why. But here's the truth. You're too available for people who don't even deserve a minute of your silence. This isn't about being cruel. It's about choosing yourself. And that process begins when you stop handing out pieces of yourself just to be liked or needed. When you stop being available, the game changes. And those who once relied on your presence, your approval, your emotional labor, begin to spiral. Not because you wronged them, but because they can no longer use you. You've been taught to be accessible. That your worth lies in how quickly you reply, how often you say yes, how much you give. But excessive availability isn't generosity, it's a prison. Being predictable makes you a tool, an emotional emergency button others press when they want relief. And when they're done, they put you back on the shelf. You thought they loved you, but they loved the version of you that served them. The persona isn't just a mask, it's the false self we construct to earn approval, often at the cost of who we truly are. It's this mask that makes us constantly accessible. You say, "I'm fine," when you're hurting. You reply when you're exhausted. You defend yourself, even when you owe no one an explanation. Every time you center someone else's comfort over your own truth, you abandon yourself. True strength is not in reacting. It's in choosing not to. And this strength begins by becoming emotionally unavailable to the people, situations, and expectations that drain you. Most people don't want the real you. They want the emotional support, the validation, the energy you provide. They're not irritated because you've changed. They're irritated because you've stopped being useful. And here lies the paradox. The more available you are, the less value people assign to you. Scarcity creates worth. When you're always around, always responding, always helping you become invisible, ask yourself, who truly deserves your presence? And more importantly, who deserves your absence? Let's look deeper. Why do we overreact? Why do we rush to explain ourselves, to defend, to please? It's about psychic energy, the invisible force that drives every thought, action, and transformation from within. Every emotional reaction is an energy expenditure. So, when you respond to provocations, defend against useless criticism, try to please people who don't value you, you're spending your limited energy on things that weaken you. People who are emotionally drained aren't weak. They're just misdirected. And manipulators? They sense this. They know you'll react. They know you'll try to fix everything. That's how they keep control by never needing to shout. They just press your emotional buttons. You become their puppet. And they don't even have to pull hard. A healthy psyche protects its energy. This means learning to say no without guilt. To walk away without explanation. To remain silent without shame. So ask yourself, how much of your energy have you wasted ruminating? On old arguments? On people who don't even think about you? That's energy that could have gone into your growth, your healing, your purpose. The moment you begin guarding your energy, your presence changes. You enter a room differently. You speak less but are heard more. This is the beginning of sovereignty, not coldness, but clarity. And when you conserve your energy, something powerful happens. You break the projections people place on you. You stop playing the role. You become a mystery. And that disturbs them. They accuse you of changing, of being distant. But what they really mean is, you're no longer useful to me. Your silence becomes louder than your words. It forces others to confront themselves. And that's something many aren't prepared to do. But are you? Are you ready to be misunderstood for choosing peace? To be alone, not as punishment but as transformation? Because this is where rebirth happens. The world may resist your withdrawal, but in that silence, you begin to reconstruct, not as the version others needed you to be, but as the version you were always meant to become. Individuation requires solitude, a sacred isolation where the noise of the world fades, and your inner voice finally speaks clearly. This silence will cost you. Friends will fade. Some will call you cold. Others will say you've changed. But what you'll gain in return is yourself. And once you've tasted that kind of peace, you'll never chase temporary validation again. So now, ask yourself, who have you been constantly available for who wouldn't cross a room for you? Who drains you while calling it love, friendship, loyalty? If this message spoke to you, let it be more than a moment of reflection. Let it be a turning point. Comment below. I choose my peace. Let us know you're not just watching, you're reclaiming. And if you're ready to go deeper into setting boundaries and protecting your energy, check out the next video right after this one. Until then, guard your energy, master your silence, and remember, you are not here to be convenient. You are here to be complete.